All right, guys. So I want to talk about what I call OPO, and that's other people's opinions. Now, see if you can follow me on this because a lot of times when we don't know what to do or we're confused about something or we're just not sure, our go-to for most people is to go ask somebody else, right? We'll go talk to friends, family members, whoever's around for the most part, and we'll kind of run by them whatever it is that we're dealing with, whatever it is that we're going through. And in doing that, what we're doing is we're soliciting their opinions, right? And we take their opinions in and we go from there. What I want to talk about is why that can be one of the most dangerous things you could ever do. Because OPO, other people's opinions, they're going to direct your path. They're either going to direct your path in line with what you want to produce or far away from it. And you got to start kind of deciding before you go have these conversations, who am I talking to? Is this person the right person to talk to about whatever it is that I'm dealing with? Because a lot of times we just talk to people because, they're our loved ones, but those people, their opinions may be skewed on this particular topic. Let me kind of give you a story of what I mean. The year was 2014, I would say, 2013, 2014. And I'm a speaker, I'm a coach. And at that particular time, I was a writer, but it was mainly blogs or just, articles that had been published in magazines, but I had yet to become an author of a book. And that was one of my biggest goals at the time. I wanted to become an author, but I was green to the whole becoming an author topic, right? I didn't really know how to do it. I didn't know anything about publishing. And just like everybody else at that time, I solicited OPO, other people's opinions. I just started putting it out there and telling people, hey, I want to write a book. And certain people would tell me certain things or say certain things. And here's what I learned. I learned that when you get other people's opinions into your life, it's a form of suggestion. Whatever that suggestion is going to influence your thinking, right? Once it influences your thinking, now you have a thought. And a thought that you continue to think over and over again becomes a belief. Once you develop a belief, you're now going to create the reality from that belief, whether it's the reality that you want or not. So I remember as I'm kind of putting it out there, I came across somebody who was a self-publisher, had published some books before, and I want to say she had some type of small, or had in the past, some type of small self-publishing company. So I told her, I said, hey, I want to be an author. I want to write a book. And here is what she told me. She said, RJ, I don't think you should do that because, books aren't selling the way they used to. And it's going to cost you a lot of money to put a book out. It's going to take a lot of time, first and foremost, to write a book. I think you should take your content and do something else with it. And I mean, oh, wow, you just shattered my dream of becoming an author. But because I'm soliciting your opinion, that's all I got. That's the suggestion that she put in my mind, that people aren't buying books like that anymore. It's kind of a waste of time. Why would you do that? Now I walk away from that conversation with somebody else's opinion in my mind, and it starts to create thoughts within me. The thought became, well, don't do it then. Why would you want to do that? Why do you want to spend extra time? Because at that particular moment in my life, I didn't have a whole lot of extra time to waste. Not that we ever do. I also didn't have a whole lot of extra finances to put into something that wasn't going to do anything, right? And I learned that day that that person's opinion created a belief system in me. And for a minute, I said, well, forget writing a book. Let me take my content and do something else. And I started to produce that reality. Thankfully, I came across another friend that put me in contact with someone who was a New York Times bestselling author, right? And I told this person the same thing. I said, hey, I was kind of interested in writing a book. And they said, well, why aren't you doing it? And I said, well, I heard people aren't buying books anymore. It's kind of a waste of time right now. And this person said, what do you mean? What do you mean people aren't buying books anymore? And here's what he told me. He said, I sold about 10 to 15,000 books, I think just last week alone. And I was like, whoa. And he said, yeah, people still buy books. He said, and because you're a coach and you're a speaker, you writing a book is going to solidify you. It's going to do this and that. And he started giving me all of these things that were in the direction of where I wanted to go. And that opinion put me back on the path of where I wanted. So it started to prompt in me, like, I got to really be careful of whose opinion I take on when I'm trying to figure something out. It all starts with, what do you really want? Because a lot of times we're taking people's opinions and they're pushing us in a direction of what we don't want. And most people that we're soliciting their opinions, we need to know who that person is first. See, what I didn't know about the self-publishing lady was she wasn't having any success. I found this out later. She wasn't having any success in the publishing world. Her business was failing. She had a very skewed perspective on writing and publishing and all of that. So guess what? She put her perspective and projected her fear and what she felt like she couldn't do. She projected that on me. One of my old mentors used to always say, if you buy someone's opinion, you buy their lifestyle. I'm going to say that again because I know you missed it. If you buy someone's opinion, you buy their lifestyle. And for a minute, I almost bought her disgruntled lifestyle about publishing a book and becoming an author. Thankfully, I was able to bump into somebody that was in line with what I want. And because of that opinion, I started thinking differently. I started believing that I should write a book. I started to believe that it was something that I still needed to do. And guess what? As a result of that, thankfully today, I'm a published author. I even became a featured author in another book that became a bestseller. So I became a best-selling author. All of that happened just because I understood that I cannot take the opinion of somebody that's not qualified to tell me what I really need to hear in this particular area. And a lot of times, whether it's in our relationships, our business, we are soliciting OPO, other people's opinions that aren't qualified to tell us this. You're having relationship issues, so you go talk to your friend who hasn't been in a successful relationship in the past 10 years. What can he or she really offer you, right? They're just gonna offer you their limitations. They're gonna offer you their skewed perspective. And if you're not careful, their suggestion is gonna create a way of thinking in you. Your continued thinking that way is gonna create a belief. Your belief is gonna help you to create a reality that you don't want. I always tell people that before I talk to somebody now, I didn't know this then, but before I talk to somebody now about anything that's going on with me, I ask myself two questions. You guys may have heard me say this before. The first question is this person qualified to talk to me about this subject, and can they help me? Are they qualified? Is this something that this person has a good outlook on? If I'm dealing with a business situation, then if I'm going to go talk to a friend who's never owned a business before, they think business is hard, they think business is impossible, they think everything is a scam, that's probably not the person to solicit an opinion from in regards to business. They may be the person to solicit an opinion from about something else, but not about business. Then I also ask myself, even if I don't have anybody that's necessarily qualified in that area, is this somebody that's going to at least speak in line with, speak positive to whatever it is I really want my outcome to be? I want to build a big business. I want to do real estate, let's just say. And you're going to go talk to somebody, well, because of all of this stuff that's going on, real estate is not going to make it. I'm telling you. But this is somebody that doesn't do real estate, never done real estate. This is somebody that can't even speak something positive into your life. Why are you talking to them? A lot of times we're in the positions that we're in because we're soliciting OPO, other people's opinions, from people that aren't qualified to talk to us about that particular subject. And they're not even in the mindset to keep you thinking in line with and positively believing what it is that you really want. And you got to ask yourself, why are you talking to those people? OPO, other people's opinion, can be one of the most dangerous things. So my caution to you is, before you go solicit somebody's opinion about what's going on in your life, analyze, who is this person? And people say, well, I talked to my sister or I talked to my brother because they love me. Love has absolutely nothing to do with this. I've talked to tons of people that have told me things that were bad suggestions, but I know they love me. It's not that they didn't love me. It's just that a person can only give you what they have. You can't give somebody more than what you have. There are subjects right now that you can ask me about, and I would be the wrong person to talk to about that because I don't have the knowledge, I don't have the insight, I don't have anything about that subject. So I'm only going to give you the limitations that I have. And most people are only quoting things that they've heard from other people. They have no basis for it. They have no logic in it. They have no insight. They have no professionalism about it or any professional opinion about it. So you got to ask yourself, OPO, other people's opinions, whose opinion am I allowing to come into my life that's disrupting me from the path that I desire to be on? Because remember, you gotta be one way. So when you buy somebody's opinion, you buy their lifestyle.